In this festive ambience, we would like to welcome our respected dignitaries up onto the dais. Please welcome Honorable Vice Chancellor Sir Professor Amiya Kumar Rath,
our Register Ma'am Srimati Nishi Poonam Minch,
Honorable Finance Officer Srimati Sevati Dansena,
Director Curriculum Professor Dr. Sujit Kumar Khuntia,
Director Placement Dr. Manoranjan Mahapatra,
Director Examination Professor Dr. B.B. Mangaraj,
Director CUPGS Dr. Shiv Kumar Mishra.
I would request our honorable dignitaries to kindly take their seat. Now, I would request our dignitaries to kindly pay homage to the Panindram of Odisha, Shri Biju Patnaik.
We would request everyone to stand up for the BPUT anthem.
ଗବେଷଣା ବୈଷୟିକ ଶିକ୍ଷା ରୂପରେଖ ଆମ ହାତରେ ନିର୍ମିତ ହେବ ସୀମାହୀନ ଆମ ସାଧନାର ଗତି ପଥରେ ଯେତେ ସବୁ ବାଧା ବିଘ୍ନ ଏଡ଼ାଇ ପରିଚୟ ଆମେ ତୋଳିବୁ ଏବେ ଉଠେ ଆମ ଆଶାର ଆଲୋକ ଆମେ ଜଗତକୁ ଜିତିବୁ ଆମେ ଜଗତକୁ ଜିତିବୁ।
Some are born great, some have greatness thrust on them, and some achieve it by dint of their deeds. One among them was Bijayananda Patnaik, more popularly known as Biju Patnaik, also called the Bull of Utkal.
To honor Sri Biju Patnaik, I would request our authorities to kindly play a documentary. Very few personality have come across from Odisha, those who have the pageant drum of a person like Sri Biju Patnaik. I would request our Director CUPJs, Dr. Sip Kumar Mishra, to kindly share his utmost respect to him. Sir, please.
शुभ अपराह्न माननीय कुलपति महोदय माननीय कुलसचिव महोदय अन्यान्य वरिष्ठ शिक्षक और शिक्षयित्रीवृंद तथा यही विश्वविद्यालय समस्त कर्मचारी एवं मोर प्रिय छात्र छात्री आमे निजको निश्चित भाव गर्व अनुभव करिबा जे आमे एक यूनिवर्सिटी बा विश्वविद्यालय सहित जड़ित जहा ओडिशार बरपुत्र श्रीजुक्त बिजू पट्टनायक का नाम नामित आज से बरपुत्रंकर 109तम जन्मतिथि मु बेसी किछि तांकु कहि भी परिबिनी काहेकि ना तांकर व्यक्तित्व एते विराट जे ताकू अल्प केतक समय भितर बखाणिबा आदौ संभव नुह किंतु तांकर व्यक्तित्वर जो गोटे दिग मते बहुत आकर्षित करे सेटा होची तांकर साहसिकता जेतेबेले परिस्थिति संपूर्ण भाव में प्रतिकूल जेतेबेले आशार कौनसी आलोक भी देखा जाए न थाए सेतेबेले छिड़ा हुए विजयानंद पट्टनायक आउ से विजयानंद पट्टनायक असंभव को संभव कराए से जो साहसिकता से जो असंभव को संभव करिवार जो उत्कंठा तांका भितर थिला तांका भितर जो से जो से दीपटा थिला जे किछि भी हेले मु मो ओडिसा को गोटे अन्य एक जगह को नेबी ओडिशार लोक मानकु अत्यंत भल पाउथिले आपण माने विश्वास करिवेनी मु गोटे छोटिया जिनस तांको पई शेयर करबी से विषय रे 1997 मसिया कथा आपण माने जानिथिबे 1997 मसिया रे एप्रिल मासरे तांकर देहावशेष माने देहावसान हेछि सेते बेले मु गोटे कंपनी रे राउरकेला रे थाए गोटे काम रे राउरकेला को आस्ता सेते बेले 1997 मसिया रे हठात जना गला जे बिजू बाबू चली गले मोर पिला बेलू कहीं घर पाखरे आम घर आमर बहुत पाखरे से एरोड्रम फील्ड पाखरे मो घर तो मु सब बेले देखी छोट बेलू पिला बेलू देखी 90 मसीह तो मु हठात भुवनेश्वर को भी ताकर आसिया को पड़ला सेतबेले मु देखिछि सेतबेले भुवनेश्वर रे जो लोकारण्य हो जाइतिला ताको 10 दिन दिन लोक माने मुंडन करथिले माने नंडा आइतिले एते लोक से जो भल पाइबा सेटा बहुत रेयर आउ आजिर पिला माने बोधे हुए तुम आपण माने ताको देखि नाहंती बोली से जानिथिबो से गोटे अनुष्ठान थिले तांकर साहसिकता तांकर आमको सबुदिन आमको उत्साह दब तांकर से जो असंभव को संभव करिवार जो उत्कंठा जो ताक मन रे जो थिला सेटा आमको सबु बेले प्रेरणा दब आउ आमको जहाँ आमर लक्ष्य अच्छी मु तो सही भाया किसी देखे जिते बड़े बिजु आमर यूनिवर्सिटी रे बहुत काम अच्छी जोटा कि बेले बेले आमको असंभव लगे किंतु ताकू संभव करिया पे पड़िबो आउ संभव करिया पे प्रेरणा देबे एई विजयानंद पट्टनायक कारण तांकरी ना रे आमे ए विश्वविद्यालय करिचु तांकरी आमे माने भाग्यवान जे तांकर ना रे नामित ए विश्वविद्यालय रे आमे माने जड़ित धन्यवाद जय वंदे उत्कल जननी
धन्यवाद सर आपणक मूल्यवान मंतव्य एवं अनुभव आमको अत्यंत लाभदायक हेबो
On the auspicious occasion of the birth anniversary of late Biju Patnaik, I would request our other dignitaries, if they are interested, to share their honorable views for the same. Sir, please.
Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Ramya Kumar Ratha sir, Register Madam Srimati Nisi Punam Means, our Finance Officer Sevati Dansana Madam, Director CUPJS, Director Examinations Professor Mangaraj, Director in charge Placement and Industrial Training Professor Manoranjan Mahapatra, respected faculty members and students. आज ओडिया कहूँ समस्ते जाचे आज विजु पट्टनायक जन्मदिवस आम पालन करुचे ता सहित आज आम पालन करुचे पंचायत राज दिवस आमर मो पूर्व आम डायरेक्टर सीपी अलरेडी कहीगले विजु बाबू से थिले साहसिकतार प्रतीक ता सहित ये जो वुमेन से अनेक गुड़े से ओडिशार दायित्व दुई थर दायित्व नहीं मुख्यमंत्री हिसाब से से अनेक जिनस प्रणयन करिसेंती तांकर जो लास्ट को से 90 रु 95 जो समय से मुख्यमंत्री थिले से ही समय से अच्छा राइट राइट एनी हाउ से वुमेन एम्पावरमेंट पे जो रिजर्वेशन ऑफ वुमेन इन एजुकेशन इन डिफरेंट एडमिशंस ये सबूटा को से लागू करथिले जहाँ आम आज कौन शिक्षा करुचे तांकर जो साहसिक से थिले से शिल्प अनेक गुड़े शिल्प करते चौद्वार जो ओटीएम अच्छे ओडिशा टेक्सटाइल मिल करते कलिंग ट्यूब्स चौद्वार ठार थिला बर्तमान ता ना सेटा करते टीटागढ़ पेपर मिल पारादीप पोर्ट अनेक गुड़े शिल्प बंदर से प्रतिष्ठा करते जो दूरदर्शिता थिला से भविष्य को जो लक्ष्य कर देखी पारुले से पदक्षेप नौले सेटा बड़ विस्मयकर थिला तेणु आम आमको से एवं प्रेरणा दौरान एवं से प्रेरणार उत्स होकर आम समस्त रही तेणु आज दिन में आम समस्ते भली साहसिक हवा निर्भीक हवा एवं केमती शिल्प जिनस को आगे को नेले आम देश केमती उन्नति हम राज्य केमती आगू को चलो समस्ते से दिगरे चेष्टा करवा तेणु से मोर समस्त वार्ता तेणु तुम मैंने समस्ते वैषयिक शिक्षा लाभ कर निजको तादरे दक्ष करने को चेष्टा कर निजको स्किल जो कहूचे हेले तमे देशपाई राज्यपाई काम कर तुम जीवन सार्थक हम धन्यवाद।
ଏହି ଉତ୍ତମ ପ୍ରେରଣାଦାୟକ ଶବ୍ଦ ପାଇଁ ଆପଣଙ୍କୁ ହୃଦୟରୁ ଧନ୍ୟବାଦ ସାର୍।
Now, I would like to request our register ma'am to please come up on the dais. Ma'am, please. I'm so sorry. I would like to request our director examination to come up and share his views. Sir, please.
Honorable Vice Chancellor Sir, esteemed Register Madam, esteemed Directors of our university, staffs of our university, and my dear students. स्वर्गत विजयानंद पट्टनायक जड़े असाधारण व्यक्तित्व जमती सीयूपीजीएस डायरेक्टर कहले सबु प्रकार असंभव काम से करते से एक समय विभिन्न प्रकार काम करिपारंती से एक समय शिल्पपति थिले एक समय से ही समय से पॉलिटिशियन थिले से ही समय तांकर विभिन्न साहसिकतार प्रदर्शन करते जोटा कि साधारण मनीष पॉसिबल नहीं खाली ओडिशा नुहे ओडिशा बाहर समस्त समस्त राज्य चिन्हती सारा इंडिया रे एमती कई लोक ना जी कि विजयानंद पट्टनायक को जानी नथिबे तो मोर एतिकी सबू आमर छात्र मानकु अनुरोध जे तांको भलिया व्यक्तित्व जमिति तांको पाखर परिप्रकाश हबो सेतिमे से चेष्टा करिवे एवं तांकोरी भलिया आम ओडिशार जमिति तांकोरी भलिया कामक सब करिवे जमिति आमर ओडिशार ना सारा भारतवर्ष समस्ते सम्मान सहित नेबे। थैंक यू।
Thank you so much, sir, for your inspiring words.
Now, I would like to request our respected Director Curriculum to please come up on the stage and share his view. I am so sorry. Director Placement to please come up on the stage and share his view.
Good afternoon. ମୁଁ ଓଡ଼ିଆରେ ଚେଷ୍ଟା କରିବି କହିବା ଲାଗି but Biju Patnaik was a personality with multiple dimension तारो माने ଓଡ଼ିଆର equivalent ମୋତେ ଜଣା ନାହିଁ so in one what you call platform he had multifaceted personalities. He was an entrepreneur, he was a politician, he was a statesman, he was a pilot, he was a philanthropist. He has multi-more, I mean a lot of things are there, so it will be difficult for people like us at this level to do a complete analysis of a person who has done so many things for Odisha, India, starting from industry. When industry were never thought of airlines, just to give an idea, he set up Kalinga Airlines. In fact, when I was working in L&T Calcutta, I remember I met a person in a petrol filling center with a half, khaki half pant or trouser, whatever. Then we were talking in Odia because my friend was working in that HPCL bunk in, I remember that road also, HSC Bose Road. And he asked that, are you from Odisha? I told yes. We were young, right? We just joined, I think, 1 or 2 years of L&T work experience. So then he told that, do you know Biju Patnaik? We told yes. Then he says, I used to work for him when he was a pilot. He had office in CR Avenue. Then he was narrating his whole story. So I used to tell that story to many people that you'd still find people, and I think his age was around maybe 70 plus or something. So he used to tell that he will come to the office and he will greet everybody, he will go around, he will try to find out who is doing what and what is his problem that day, instead of saying that what he has to do that day. So he was a different personality, he was a different entrepreneur. And In Odisha, I think many people know that, okay, a lot of industry, NIT, port, everything people know, right? Indonesia, they know. But let me tell you, as a student, you should know and you should feel proud that you are associated with such university, that he has sponsored many students with a condition that they will never tell till the time they pass out. Such stories are there. I think I forwarded a video. Today morning only my wife forwarded that because he knows that I will be, I like him.
Thank you so much, sir, for your inspiring words.
Now I would request our finance officer, Shri Sevati ma'am, to speak some inspiring words. Please, ma'am.
Good afternoon to all. Respected Vice Chancellor sir, respected Registrar ma'am, all directors and my colleagues and dear students. ଆଜି ହେଉଛି ବିଜୁ ପଟ୍ଟନାୟକଙ୍କର 119ତମ ଜନ୍ମତିଥି। ଆଉ ଆଜିର ଆମ CUPGS ଡାଇରେକ୍ଟର ଆମର ଶିବ କୁମାର ମିଶ୍ର ସାର୍ ଗୋଟେ ମେସେଜ ଦେଲେ କି 3ଟାରେ ଏଇ ମିଟିଂଟା ଗୋଟେ ହେବ। ଏମିତି ଆଗରୁ ଜଣାଥିଲା ଯେ ଆମର ଗାର୍ଡେନରେ ଯେ ମୂର୍ତ୍ତି ଅଛି ସେ ମୂର୍ତ୍ତିରେ ଆମର ଗାର୍ଲାଣ୍ଡିଂ ହେଇଥିଲା 11ଟା ବେଳକୁ, ତାପରେ ଗୋଟେ ମିଟିଂର ଆୟୋଜନ କରାହେଲା। ମୁଁ ସମସ୍ତଙ୍କୁ ମୋ ହୃଦୟ ତରଫରୁ ଧନ୍ୟବାଦ ଦେଉଛି ଏବଂ ବିଶେଷ କରି ଆମ ଭାଇସ୍ ଚାନ୍ସେଲରଙ୍କୁ ଧନ୍ୟବାଦ ଦେଉଛି। ତାଙ୍କ ପାଇଁ ତଥା ନିଜ ପାଇଁ ଗୋଟେ विशेष ताली हो। मु सब बेले कहे जे आमर बिजू पट्टनायक यूनिवर्सिटी प्रेमिसेसटा वन टाइप ऑफ मरुभूमि लगे। आउ सारंकर बहुत चेष्टा बल पिला संख्या दिन को दिन बढ़ी जाउछंती एवं से पिला संख्या ही बढ़िले आमर प्रेमिसेसर सौंदर्य वृद्धि हेबो। ता सहित अल्प पिला जहाँ करि पारु नथिले एबे आमर संख्या भी बढ़ुची, संख्या सहित प्रोग्राम भी बढ़ुची। ता सहित माने आज गोटे जिनस मन पकाइबा पई एठी बसिचे जे जने जन्म हुए, जन्म हैला परे तार निश्चित भाव में मृत्यु हुए, किंतु से अल्प समय भितरे जो कीर्तिमान जिनस गुड़ाक गढ़ी जाइथंती ताकू अन्य माने मन पकांती कहीं ना सेटा अन्य मानक पई प्रेरणादायी होता है। आमे समस्ते क्षणिक समय पई ए संसार को आसचु, किंतु जो पाद आमर अच्छी समस्ते आमर जो माने अच्छंती हेयर लीगल हेयर से माने निश्चित भाव में मन पकेबे। आमे भी से प्रबाद पुरुषंकर जड़े जड़े लीगल हेयर आउ आगुरी आमर जड़े वक्ता कहीकि जाइथिले जे आमे निश्चित भाव में सौभाग्य जे बिजू पट्टनायक यूनिवर्सिटी ऑफ टेक्नोलॉजी रे आमे जड़े जड़े सदस्य। आमे गर्वित हेबा कथा जे तांको पादर जेतिकी धूली निश्चित भाव में आज तो तांको पाद धूली पाई परिबानी, किंतु फिर भी आमे आम स्वच्छ मन रे चिंता करिबा जे तांको पाखरे जो जो गुण थिला निश्चित भाव में भगवान आम मुंड उपरे रखंतु, जोटा कि आमर तांकर जो जेतिकी साहस थिला जेतिकी शक्ति थिला पृथ्वी सारा तांकर जो नाम कीर्तन आज अच्छी जोठी आपण छिड़ा हेले भी देखिबे तांकर गोटे स्टाच्यू ठिया हिथिबो किंबा ना गुंजरित होउथिबो। मु तो भाबुची आमर जो गार्डन भितर अच्छी छिड़ा हेकी सेटा एक पत्थर मूर्ति किंबा गोटे मेटाल रो मूर्ति नुहंती सद्य मूर्ति बोली आमे भाबिबा। काई ना जेतेबेले आमे गोटे गोटे फ्रेश गार्लैंड करूचु सेटा लगे कि आमर जीवंत से जो कहते आमे लिजेंड आमे आमे निश्चित भाव में तांकर जेतिकी कर्म करिकी छाड़िकी जाइचंती तांकर जो स्वप्न थिला ताको आमे निश्चित भाव में पूरण करिबा। आमे आज आमे सब बेले भाबू जे आमे करूछु ना आमे समस्ते मिसिकी करूछु। आउ एई अवसर रे मोर ଯେତିକି ଷ୍ଟୁଡେଣ୍ଟ ରହୁଛନ୍ତି ଆମେ ତ ଅଧ ବୟସ ଅତିକ୍ରମ କଲେଣି ଏବଭ 50 ମାନେ ମାନେ କ'ଣ କହିବି ନଟ୍ ଆଉଟ୍ 50 ମାନେ ଆମେ 50 କ୍ରସ୍ କରିଗଲେଣି ଏବେ 100 ଆଡ଼କୁ ଅତିକ୍ରମ କରୁଛୁ ଭଗବାନ ଯଦି ଚାହିଁବେ ଆମକୁ 100 ଉପରେ ବି ରଖିବେ ମୁଁ ସେୟା ଭାବୁଛି ଆଉ ଆମେ ହେଉଛୁ ଆପଣଙ୍କର କିଛି କିଛି ପାଦର କିଛି ଗନ୍ତା ପଥର ଆଗେଇଥିବା କିଛି ପଥିକ ଆଉ ଆପଣମାନେ ବିଶେଷ କରି ମୋ ଷ୍ଟୁଡେଣ୍ଟମାନଙ୍କୁ ଅନୁରୋଧ କରୁଛି ସେମାନେ ଆପଣଙ୍କ ପିତାମାତା ହୁଅନ୍ତୁ କିମ୍ବା ଆପଣଙ୍କ ଟିଚର ହୁଅନ୍ତୁ କିମ୍ବା ଆମର ଅଫିସିଆଲ ଷ୍ଟାଫ୍ ହେଉଛନ୍ତି ଯାହାର ଯେକୌଣସି ଅତି ସୁନ୍ଦର ଗୁଣ ବୋଲି ଭାବୁଛନ୍ତି ସେଟାକୁ ଅନୁସରଣ କରନ୍ତୁ ଏତିକି କହି ମୋର ବକ୍ତବ୍ୟ ଶେଷ କରୁଛି ଥ୍ୟାଙ୍କ ୟୁ ଟୁ ଅଲ୍
ଧନ୍ୟବାଦ ମ୍ୟାମ୍ ଆପଣଙ୍କର ଏହି ଉତ୍କୃଷ୍ଟ ଓ ପ୍ରେରଣାଦାୟୀ ଶବ୍ଦ ପାଇଁ।
Now, we are honored to request the presence of our respected Register Ma'am to speak some inspiring words. Ma'am, please.
Honorable Vice Chancellor Sir, Finance Officer, all directors on the dais, all faculty members, officers, staff, and my dear students. Today we are celebrating 109th birth anniversary of late Biju Patnaik. It's our pride for us, all of us, and I am thankful to all the students and especially Directorship Business for organizing this program very nicely. And the students who has participated in the Rangoli, very nicely they have done. So thank you to all the students. Late Bijayanandana Patnaik, one of the main architects of modern Odisha, is popularly known as Biju Patnaik. He was born on 5th March 1916 at Bhanjanagar in Ganjam. Biju Patnaik was undoubtedly a great intellectual, legislator, political leader, and great pilot. Above all, a reformer for Odisha. The noble and historic deed of Biju Patnaik was duly recognized by the Indonesian government. For this act of bravery act, this critical junction, he was awarded Bhumi Putra, the highest Indonesian award and a rare distinct ever granted to a foreigner. Biju Patnaik established so many industries and he is the pioneer of science and technology. Biju Patnaik established Kalinga Tubes, Kalinga Airlines, Kalinga Iron Works, Kalinga Refractories, and the Kalinga, a daily Odia newspaper. In 1951, he established the International Kalinga Prize for popularization of science and technology among the people and entrusted the responsibility to the UNESCO. The project, which he was known to have spread over, include the port of Paradip, Odisha Aviation Center, Bhubaneswar Airport, Odisha Aviation, the Cuttack Jagatpur Mahanadi Highway Bridge, Regional Engineering College, Sainik School Bhubaneswar, Odisha University of Agriculture and Technology Bhubaneswar, Nalco Talcher Thermal Power Station, and the Chaudhar and Burbil Industrial Belt. He also established the Kalinga Cup in football. Biju Patnaik breathed his last on 17th April 1997. He was a learned person, matured political, social worker, champion of education and particularly women education, promoter of cottage, small-scale industries, economic reformer. He was in every sense the pride of Odisha. And I request all the dignitaries here and all the students, let us celebrate this occasion in every year like you are arranging here at this time, and every year we will celebrate his birth anniversary. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your inspiring words about Sri Biju Patnaik. His life and achievement have always been a source of inspiration, and your words help to deepen our understanding for their contribution.
Now I would like to welcome on the dais faculty in charge, student welfare, Mr. Shiva Prasad Das, to present his views on this auspicious day.
Sir, please.
हेलो आजिकार सभार सभापति तथा बिजू पट्टनायक विश्वविद्यालय कुलपति महाशय सम्मानिया कुल सचिव निशी पूनम मिंज मैडम आमर विश्वविद्यालय वित्त अधिकारी दंसेना मैडम अन्य निर्देशक तथा आमर सेंटर ऑफ अंडर ग्रेजुएट एंड पोस्ट ग्रेजुएट स्टडी निर्देशक शिव कुमार मिश्र सार मोर समस्त सहकर्मी वृंद एवं प्रिय छात्र छात्री माने आज होची एक ऐतिहासिक दिन एवं आज होची 109तम जन्मवार्षिकी बिजू पट्टनायक बिजू पट्टनायक विषय रे जदि आमे कहिबा 5 मिनिट कि 10 मिनिट समय तो हुए तो यथेष्ट नुह एवं मोर पूर्व वक्ता माने बहुत किछि कहि सारिलेनी जेतेबेले प्रथम रु निर्देशक मिश्र सार जेतेबेले कहूतिले तांकर गोटे जो पॉजिटिव क्वालिटी कहूतिले जे साहसिकता से साहसिकता होची तांकर सबुठारु बड़ एसेट थिला कहले कोनोसी अत्युक्ति हेबो नाही मो मात्र 5 मिनिट कहिबी किंतु दीटा जिंस कहिबी जोंथिरे कि बिजू पट्टनायक अन्य मुख्यमंत्री मानक ठारु अलगा थिले गोटे कथा होची से 1961 मसीह जितेबाला इंडियन नेशनल कांग्रेस रु मुख्यमंत्री हेले 63 मसीह से रिजाइन दे देले तो से टोटाल डिप्लोमेटिक नथिले किंबा चीफ मिनिस्टर पोस्ट प्रति से लालायित नथिले जदि लालायित थांते से 5 वर्ष इंडियन नेशनल कांग्रेस रे कंटिन्यू करि पारितांते आजिकार किंतु पॉलिटिशियन कोन होची कांग्रेस टिकट दलानी बीजेपी पाकु चलो बीजेपी दलानी चलो 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 बीजेडी को चलो से जिंस होची एवं 63 रु 1990 27 वर्ष पर आउ थे मुख्यमंत्री पूरा दीटा अलगा जेनेरेशन गोटे पटे बीरेन मित्र गोटे पटे अच्छा हरिकृष्ण महताब एपटे आमर प्रसन्न दादा दाम राउत एवं दिलीप राय विजय महापात्र वेद प्रकाश अग्रवाल तो 27 वर्ष पर आउ थे मुख्यमंत्री दीटा अलगा जेनेरेशन आउ दीटा अलगा जेनेरेशन को से पूरा ठीक हिसाब से चल पारुथिले एवं 1990 मसीह से जिते फुल टाइम 5 वर्ष टर्म पाई जनता दलरू मुख्यमंत्री निर्वाचित हेले से कहा को लॉ मिनिस्टर करथिले आईन मंत्री करथिले आईन मंत्री थिले नरसिंह मिश्र एवं नरसिंह मिश्र थिले कम्युनिस्ट दल नेता एवं कम्युनिस्ट दल नेता सेतबेले सेंटर रे कांग्रेस को सपोर्ट करथला तो कांग्रेस आउ 90 मसीह रे बिजू पट्टनायक थिले अण कांग्रेस राजनीति रे गोटे पूर्वधार किंतु जेतेबेले विकास रो कथा आसे राजनीति सबु बेले आगे माटी तापरे पार्टी एवं राजनीति कादुआ फिंगा फुंगी ये कांग्रेस ये बीजेपी ये बीजेडी एटा चली दिबो किंतु से जेतेबेले तार आईन विषय रे ज्ञान अछि से जेतेबेले गोटे आईन रो गोटे टफ माने तार आईन विषय रे जदि लॉ हिसाब रे ज्ञान अछि से लॉ मंत्री हेबो एवं सबु जगह रे जेतेबेले हमर कैबिनेट बसुतला सबु बेले क्रिटिसाइज करदिले से बिजू पट्टनायक को जे यू आर ए यूजलेस चीफ मिनिस्टर किंतु तथापि कहते मोर जदि मो भितर कौन फल्ट अच्छी यही पिलाटा जापर तो मु जदि चीफ मिनिस्टर मो भितर भी आम मनीष भगवान नुह जदि 10टा मो पाखे पॉजिटिव क्वालिटी अच्छी 90टा हुए तो खराब क्वालिटी थी पारे से लोकटा जदि न कह मुझे जानी मोर गोटे खराब क्वालिटी अच्छी यहाँ हूँ फास्ट जिनस जे कि अन्य चीफ मिनिस्टर ठारू डिफरेंट थे आज जी भी चीफ मिनिस्टर हूँ कौन कांग्रेस बीजेपी वाला कौन कांग्रेस डाक जन को फाइनान्स मिनिस्टर करेंगे कदापि करेंगे एवं द्वितीय कथा हूँ से किछि दिन तले मु प्रसन्न दा बरगढ़ बासभवन रे बसी से गोटे बिजू पट्टनायक कथा मते शेयर करथिले सेटा मु कहिबी तांकर जो बासभवन अच्छी से जो ऑफिस अच्छी बड़ गोटे बिजू पट्टनायक मूर्ति अच्छी तले से बसन तो से 94 रे गोटे स्टेटमेंट देथिले बिजू पट्टनायक जे मते न कहि कोनोसी पुलिस गोड़ी चलै परिबे ना तो समस्ते प्राय हसी थिले जे ये गोटे चीफ मिनिस्टर ये एभलिया स्टेटमेंट कहीं देला आ कटाक्ष करथिले से समय रे जे विरोधी दल नेता थिले जानकी वल्लभ पट्टनायक से कटाक्ष करथिले जे बंदूक पुलिस पाखरे गुली बिजू बाबू पाखरे सरकार चलिबो केमिति तो जिते विजय महापात्र और प्रसन्न दा दी जन पचारि आसिले जे आपण गोटे चीफ मिनिस्टर हो कि भाया गोटे लूज स्टेटमेंट कहीं देले से कहले मोर कहबार अभिप्राय ये भाया नथिला से लोकटा जन्म होइछि बंचिबा पई वी बॉर्न हियर टू लिव से मरिबो गोटे दिन आसीबो 80 वर्ष कि 90 वर्ष कि एक्सीडेंट हो गले मरिबो किंतु तुमे ताकू गुली करनी जोठी दस्यु रत्नाकर वाल्मीकि ही पारुची सेठी एक्सपेक्टेशन अछि जे सबु दस्यु रत्नाकर गोटे गोटे वाल्मीकि ही पारि सेही भलिया से गोटे चीफ मिनिस्टर थिले एवं मुख्य तांकर लेडी शिक्षा प्रति महिला शिक्षा प्रति आमर किछिटा डायरेक्टर विभिन्न जिनस आलोकपात करि सारिलेनी तांकर अवदान कोन थिला 1995 मसिया आगरु जनरल इलेक्शन आगरु कोड ऑफ कंडक्ट लागिबा आगरु से 33% महिला कोटा से लॉन्च करथिले आमर कुलपति महाशय भी 80 दशक रे इंजीनियरिंग पढ़ी डायरेक्टर माने भी 90 दशक रे सेतेबेले केतेटा 60 सीट रु 2टा कि 3टा झियो थिबे 57टा पिला थिबे किंतु आज आमर देखदु केते महिला शिक्षा आज आम गहन रे तो आमे केमिति भूली परिबा तांकर सेही 1995 मसिहार सेही ऐतिहासिक स्मृतिटाकू आमे तो निश्चित भाव रे पूर्व थर जितेबाला आमर कुलपति महाशय गोटे क्विज कंपिटिशन इंटर यूनिवर्सिटी रो करैथिले मते आ मिश्र सर को चार्ज देइथिले आमे देखुथिलु विभिन्न जिंस को तार क्विज कंपिटिशन स्पेशली बिजू पटनायक को पाई तो आमे देखुथिलु जे लोकटा पद्म पुरस्कार भी पाइनी माने पद्मश्री भी मिलिनी एई भलिया लोकन को बंगाली टे हिथिले केते अवार्ड पाई जिथांते तो कोठी ना कोठी आमर गोटे ओडियार गोटे प्रोत्साहन गोटे प्रचेष्टार अभाव बोली मु भाबुची किंतु आज जेहेतु एटा बिजू पटनायक यूनिवर्सिटी तो निश्चित भाव रे आमर एटी आमर बीपीयूटी रु आरंभ हेबो बिजू पटनायक को आमे केमिति गोटे भारत रत्न देई परिबा जो बिजू पटनायक इंडोनेशिया राष्ट्रपति को राताराती धरी आसिले लड़ाकू भूमियार रे जो बिजू पटनायक गोटे माने सही समय रे गोटे आधुनिक ओडिसार कथा चिंता करि पारिले तांको कोन आमे गोटे राजनेता हिसाब रे आबद्ध करिबा जो दिन मु भाबुची बिजू पटनायक पई ओडिया गोटे भारत रत्न पई लड़ी पारिबो से दिन मु भाबिबी आमर आशा पूरण हेबो धन्यवाद।
Thank you so much, sir, for the incredibly insightful and inspiring speech. Your words truly resonated everyone in the room.
Now, we would cordially invite our esteemed faculty members to graciously share their insights from the podium on this auspicious occasion. Sir, ma'am, please.
Very good afternoon, one and all. Honorable Vice Chancellor Sir, respected Registrar, Finance Officer, all directors, my colleagues, dear students. So, there is no word to say about Sri Biju Patnaik because hardly we know some percentage of his contribution to the Odisha. So, when I was in the student of I think 9th or 10th in the 90s, 1990, on that time, one sentence I could remember, it's a huge student strike is going on because of this Mandal Commission, right, 1990. Mandal Commission ଯେତେବେଳେ ଚାଲିଥିଲା ସେତେବେଳେ across India student strike ସବୁ ଚାଲିଥାଏ, hunger strike ବି ଚାଲିଥାଏ students ମାନଙ୍କର। ସେତେବେଳେ ବିଜୁ ପଟ୍ଟନାୟକ ଥାନ୍ତି ଆମର स्टेट रो चीफ मिनिस्टर जितेबाला स्टूडेंट्स मानकर स्ट्राइक पई कथा हेबा पई स्टूडेंट्स माने गले चीफ मिनिस्टर पाखकू से माने बिजू पटना कहले स्टूडेंट माने मो छुआ माने फास्ट हंगर स्ट्राइक भंग करिवो तापर जाकी मु कथा सुनिबी तमरो। तो दैट वाज द स्टेटमेंट गोटे चीफ मिनिस्टर हाउ ही हैज कंट्रीब्यूटेड हाउ ही इज केयरिंग फॉर द स्टूडेंट्स बिकॉज ओडिशार समस्त स्टूडेंट्स को से मो छुआ बोली भावती। ओके मैडम आमर बहुत कथा कहले जे कौन तांकर अवदान थिला आम स्टेट पई कौन करिसंती से गोटे सीरीज ऑफ इंस्टीट्यूशन एंड ऑर्गेनाइजेशन जोटे रीड आउट कले इट्स ए रियल माने बेस्ट कंट्रीब्यूशन टू एनी सिटीजन ऑफ ओडिशा टू द स्टेट ऑफ ओडिशा आई थिंक सो। लास्ट ईयर आमे भी मु कहितली शेयर करथुल आमे जेतोले ऑनरेबल वाइस चांसलर सर आ मु गोटे नॉन ओडिया डायरेक्टर को सहित देखा करथिलु आमे डायरेक्टर ऑफ आईएमएमटी सीएसआईआर से जेतिकी जिनस बिजू पट्टनायक ना रे कहिले आमे भी सेतिकी जिनिस जानिनु दैट इज द पर्सनालिटी एंड इज हैविंग इम्पैक्ट टू द सिटीजन ऑफ इंडिया राइट सो आमे जदि गणिबा जे 50 जन बेस्ट सिटीजन्स ऑफ इंडिया सिंस द इंडिपेंडेंस और बिफोर दैट हु हैज कंट्रीब्यूटेड टू द कंट्री बिजू पट्टनायक डेफिनेटली 50 जन को भीतर आसीबे तो सेंती प्रबाद पुरुष से थिले आमे निश्चित तांकर सब जीवनी तांकर कार्यशैली तांकर दक्षता तांकर एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन को आमे फॉलो करबा उचित आ सेतिकी आम बोल्डनेस है कि सब जिनस को आग को बढ़िबा उचित मु आम वाइस चांसलर सर को रिक्वेस्ट करी जे आमे सर बिजू पट्टनायक नाम रे गोटे गैलरी जमती तैयारी करबा हमरो एठी बीपीयूटी रे आउ एथिपाई कौन करबा पड़िबो आमे गुड़े संग्रह आगरू करा जाइछि बीपीयूटी रो पिला माने भी चाहिए बोर्ड रूम रे हमर किछि फोटोग्राफ्स व्हाट बिजू पट्टनायक हैज कंट्रीब्यूटेड टू ओडिशा से सब अच्छी आ पिला मानकु भी रिक्वेस्ट रहिला जे बिजू पट्टनायक गैलरी गोटे करबा पई आपण माने जहाँ किछि संग्रह जहाँ किछि लिखित जहाँ किछि स्पीच वेदर ऑडियो वीडियो और पिक्चर्स व्हाटएवर और स्कल्पचर किछि भी करि परिबे जेमती आमे देखिबा जे कमिंग बिजू जयंती पूर्वरु आमे से गैलरी टाकू संपूर्ण भाबे करबा बट पिला मानकर कंट्रीब्यूशन रहिबा उचित टू कलेक्ट द डाटा करेक्ट इन्फॉर्मेशन करेक्ट पिक्चर्स सो दैट आमे गैलरी टी भल भाबे करबा आमे बहुत दिन तळू सार भी सेटा चिंता करिसंती तो आमे आज जदि संकल्प करबा तबे निश्चित आमे गैलरी टा करि परिबा धन्यवाद
Thank you so much, sir. Your speech was a perfect blend of emotion, intelligence, and inspiration. It was truly a pleasure to listen to.
Now, I would like to welcome someone who can rightly be said as the nucleus of all these plethora of activities, whose insatiable craze for reformation and renovation has filled our campus with fragrance. He is none but our Reverend Vice Chancellor, Sir, Professor Amiya Kumar Rath. Sir, please do grace us with your inspiring words. Please, sir.
So Biju Patnaik Boisoiko Vishwavidyalaya registrar, director CUPGS, finance officers, director examinations, director curriculum development, director placement and industrial training, faculty members, deputy registrar, ଆଉ ପିଲାମାନେ ମୋର ମନେ ପଡ଼ୁଛି ମାନେ मैडम कहले भंजनगर रे जन्मग्रहण करथिले गोटे भंजनगर पाखरे गोटे नुआ गाँ बोली गोटे जगह अच्छी कहीं ना मु भंजनगर मु 7 वर्ष बितेइछि मु मोर स्कूलिंग भंजनगर रे आउ कॉलेज उपेंद्र भंज हाई स्कूल भंजनगर तापरे कवि सम्राट उपेंद्र भंज कॉलेज भंजनगर मु सेठे पढ़ी आमे छोट थी मोर मन अच्छी दिने बिजू पट्टनायक आसी मु छोट अच्छी मु जाइली देखा जाइली स्पीच रे फर्स्ट रे थिला मु जेतले आसुची बहुत गहली होचंती बहुत पिला आसुचंती देखिबा जनसंख्या बहुत रोची बहुत भिड़ होची किंतु बाक्स खोलला बेले किछि नाही बाक्स खोलला बेले भोट किए देउ नांती ए भलिया थिला बहुत पुराना कथा मु कहूची बहुत साहसी थे गोटे थर ओयूएटी रे सेमती गोटे पिला स्ट्राइक करथिले कोन पई मोर गोटे बंधु ओयूएटी रे कहउथिले झियो माने पुओ माने जाइथिले से कहले सब कथा सुनिबे किंतु तांको हिसाब रे हबा को पड़िबो कहले झियो माने को ए झारपड़ा पाखरे छाड़ दियो पुओ माने को चंदकार छाड़ दियो माने मु कहूची तांकर डेयरिंग से भलिया थिला एते साहसी लोक दिने एमती रिक्सा रे भी जाती सी जिते जाऊे असेंबली की गला बेलू गोटे थर गोटे बहुत न्यूज होता
ବିଜୁ ପଟ୍ଟନାୟକ ରିକ୍ସାରେ ଯାଉଛନ୍ତି ଏସେମ୍ବଲି କି ଯାଉଛନ୍ତି ମୋର ମନେ ଅଛି ସବୁ କାହିଁକି ସେ ଓଡ଼ିଶାର ବରପୁତ୍ର ମାନେ ଆମେ ଭାଗ୍ୟ ଯେ ତାଙ୍କ ନାଁରେ ବିଜୁ ପଟ୍ଟନାୟକ ବୈଷୟିକ ବିଶ୍ୱବିଦ୍ୟାଳୟ ହେଇଛି। ମୁଁ ସବୁବେଳେ ଗୋଟେ କଥା କହେ ଯେତେବେଳେ ଆମ ୟୁନିଭର୍ସିଟିର ନାଁ ବାହାରେ ଯିଏ ବି ନିଅନ୍ତୁ ସମ୍ମାନ ସହକାରେ ନେବେ ମାନେ ଭଲ ଆକାରରେ ନେବେ ଯେ କାହିଁକି ନା ବିଜୁ ପଟ୍ଟନାୟକ ନାଁରେ ଏଇ ବିଶ୍ୱବିଦ୍ୟାଳୟ ସ୍ଥାପନ କରାଯାଇଛି। ତେଣୁ ଯଦି ଆମେ କିଛି ଆମର ୟୁନିଭର୍ସିଟିର ଆମର ଦାୟିତ୍ୱ ବହୁତ ବଢ଼ିଛି ଆମେ ଯଦି ୟୁନିଭର୍ସିଟିର କିଛି ଖରାପ ହେଉଛି ଆମର ଯାହା ନାଁରେ ନାମିତ ହୋଇଛି ତାଙ୍କୁ ଡେଫିନାଇଟଲି ତାଙ୍କର ଗୋଟେ ମାନେ ଛୋଟକାଟିଆ ଅସମ୍ମାନ ଟାଇପ୍ର ହେଉଛି। ତେଣୁ ମୁଁ ସବୁବେଳେ ମୁଁ ଚାହେଁ ଏ ବିଜୁ ପଟ୍ଟନାୟକ ନାଁରେ ଯେଉଁ ୟୁନିଭର୍ସିଟିଟା ହେଇଛି ତାକୁ ବହୁତ ସମ୍ମାନ ସହକାରେ ଦେଖନ୍ତୁ। କାଲି ଆମର ଭାଇସ୍ ଚାନ୍ସଲର୍ସ କନଫରେନ୍ସ ଥିଲା ଅନରେବୁଲ୍ ଚାନ୍ସଲର୍ସ ଅନରେବୁଲ୍ ଗଭର୍ଣ୍ଣରଙ୍କ ପାଖରେ ସବୁ ଭାଇସ୍ ଚାନ୍ସଲର୍ ଯାଇଥିଲେ। ମୁଁ ସେତେବେଳେ କହୁଥିଲି ଆମ ଡାଇରେକ୍ଟର ଏକ୍ଜାମିନେସନ୍ 5 ଦିନରେ ରେଜଲ୍ଟ ବାହାର କରିଛନ୍ତି। ମୁଁ ତାଙ୍କୁ ଗୋଟେ PPT ବି ପ୍ରେଜେଣ୍ଟେସନ୍ କରିଥିଲି ଗତକାଲି। ଆମର ରୋଡ଼ ମ୍ୟାପ୍ କ'ଣ ଥିଲା 5 ଦିନରେ ମାନେ ଅନରେବୁଲ୍ ଚାନ୍ସଲର୍ କହିଲେ ଯେ BPUTରୁ ସମସ୍ତେ ଦେଖନ୍ତୁ ସେ କେମିତି କରିଛନ୍ତି ଆଉ ସେଭଳି ଆପଣମାନେ ବି ବାହାର କରନ୍ତୁ। ସାର୍ଟିଫିକେଟ୍ ଆମେ ଡିଷ୍ଟ୍ରିବ୍ୟୁସନ୍ କରିଦେଉଛୁ କନଭୋକେସନ୍ ଡେରେ। ଏସବୁଗୁଡ଼ାକ ମୁଁ ଯେତେବେଳେ ବୁଝାଉଥିଲି ସେ ମୋତେ ଖୁସି ଲାଗୁଥିଲା ଯେ ଅନ୍ୟମାନେ ବିଜୁ ପଟ୍ଟନାୟକ ୟୁନିଭର୍ସିଟି ଅଫ୍ ଟେକ୍ନୋଲୋଜିରୁ କିଛି ଶିଖିବା ଦରକାର। ସେଇଟା ମୁଁ ଯାହା ସମସ୍ତଙ୍କର ଆଉ ସମସ୍ତେ ମୋତେ ପଚାରୁଥିଲେ ଆପଣମାନେ କେମିତି ସବୁ କରୁଛନ୍ତି କାହିଁକିନା ଅନ୍ୟ ୟୁନିଭର୍ସିଟିରେ କାହାର 70 ଦିନ 80 ଦିନ 3 ମାସ 2 ମାସ 4 ମାସ ଏମିତିରେ ରେଜଲ୍ଟ ବାହାରୁଛି। ତେଣୁ ମୁଁ ଗୋଟିଏ କଥା କହିବି ଯେ ସେଭଳିଆ ସାହସ ଲୋକଙ୍କର ଆଜିକାଲି ଏଇ ଦୁନିଆରେ ଲୋକଙ୍କର ଏତିକି ସାହସ ରହୁନି। ବିଜୁ ପଟ୍ଟନାୟକଙ୍କର ଯେତିକି ସାହସ ଥିଲା ଯେତିକି ସାହସିକତାର ସହିତ ସେ କାମ କରୁଥିଲେ ଗୋଟେ ଟାଇମ୍ରେ ତାଙ୍କ ନାଁ ପ୍ରାଇମ୍ ମିନିଷ୍ଟର ହେବା ପାଇଁ ବି କଥା ଚାଲିଥିଲା। ହେଇପାରିନାହାନ୍ତି ଅଲଗା କଥା କିନ୍ତୁ ପ୍ରାଇମ୍ ମିନିଷ୍ଟର ହେବା ପାଇଁ ବି କଥା ଚାଲିଥିଲା। ସେ ଗୋଟେ ଏକ୍ସଟ୍ରୋଭର୍ଟ ଥିଲେ ମାନେ ଯାହା ମନରେ ଆସିଲା ସେ କହିଦେବେ। ଯେଉଁଟା ଆମର ଶିବ ଦାସ କହୁଥିଲେ କାହିଁକି ଗୋଟେ ଡେସିସନ୍ ନେଲେ ଯେ ପିଲାମାନଙ୍କୁ କାହାକୁ ମାନେ ପୋଲିସ ମାନେ ଗୁଳି କରିବେନି ପିଲାମାନଙ୍କୁ ଯେତେ ଗଣ୍ଡଗୋଳ କଲେ ଯେତେ ଷ୍ଟ୍ରାଇକ୍ କଲେ ଶିବ କହୁଥିଲେ ନା ତମେ ହଁ ସେଇଟା ଗୋଟେ ବହୁତ ସେଭଳିଆ ଡେରିଂ ଆଜିକାଲି ଦୁନିଆରେ ସେଭଳିଆ ଡେରିଂ ରହୁନି ଲୋକଙ୍କର ଡୁଏଲ୍ ମାଇଣ୍ଡ ଲୋକଙ୍କର ରହୁଛି। କିନ୍ତୁ ତାଙ୍କର ଗୋଟେ ଥିଲା ଯାହା ଭାବିଲେ ସେ କହିଲେ ଆଉ ସେଇଟାକୁ ସେ ଷ୍ଟିକ୍ କରନ୍ତି ତାଙ୍କ କଥାକୁ ନା ଏବେ କହିଦେଲି ପୁଣି ପଛକୁ ଫେରିଯିବା ସେମିତି ନଥାଏ ତାକୁ ଜଷ୍ଟିଫାଏ କରନ୍ତି। ଓକେ ହି ୱିଲ୍ ମେକ୍ ଡେସିସନ୍ସ ଆଣ୍ଡ ହି ୱିଲ୍ ମେକ୍ ଇଟ୍ ରାଇଟ୍। ଏମିତି ଗୋଟେ ରତନ ଟାଟାଙ୍କର ଗୋଟେ ଅଛି ଆଇ ଟେକ୍ ଡେସିସନ୍ସ ଆଣ୍ଡ ଆଇ ୱିଲ୍ ମେକ୍ ଇଟ୍ ରାଇଟ୍ ସେଭଳିଆ ଗୋଟେ ଅଛି। ମୁଁ ଭାବୁଛି ଆମେ ସମସ୍ତେ ଓଡ଼ିଶାରେ ଆମେ ଖୁସି ହେବା କଥା ଯେ ତାଙ୍କ ନାଁରେ ଆମ ୟୁନିଭର୍ସିଟିଟା ହେଇଛି ଆଉ ଆମେ ୟୁନିଭର୍ସିଟିକୁ ଯେତିକି ଆଗକୁ ନେବା ତାଙ୍କୁ ସେତିକି ସମ୍ମାନ ଦେଇ ଆମେ ଚାଲିଛେ। ତେଣୁ ମୁଁ ଯାହା ଏସବୁ ଦେଖୁଛ ପିଲାମାନେ ତମେ ଆସିଲା ପରେ ଆମର ଫାଇନାନ୍ସ ଅଫିସର ମ୍ୟାଡ଼ାମ୍ କହୁଥିଲେ ପିଲାମାନେ ଆସିଲେ ଗୋଟେ ୟୁନିଭର୍ସିଟିରେ ପିଲାମାନେ ହେଉଛନ୍ତି ୟୁନିଭର୍ସିଟିର ଗୋଟେ ବଳ ଶକ୍ତି ଆଉ ସାହସ। ଯେତେବେଳେ ପିଲାମାନେ ବସନ୍ତି ସେଥିରେ ଖୁସି ଲାଗେ। ପିଲାମାନେ ନଥିଲେ ୟୁନିଭର୍ସିଟିର କିଛି ନାହିଁ। ତେଣୁ ଆମେ ଦେଖୁଛୁ ଏଇଟା ଯେତେବେଳେ ଗୋଟେ କ୍ୟାମ୍ପସ୍ କଲେଜ ଷ୍ଟାର୍ଟ ହେଲା ଆକୁ ଆହୁରି ବହୁତ ପିଲା ଚାହାନ୍ତି। ବର୍ତ୍ତମାନ ମୁଁ ବାହାରୁ ଶୁଣୁଛି ସେମାନେ ଚାହାନ୍ତି ଯେ ଆମେ CUPGSରେ BPUTରେ ପାଠ ପଢ଼ିବୁ। ମୁଁ ଯେତେବେଳେ ଖବର ପାଉଛି କେଉଁଟେ ବୁର୍ଲାରେ ପଢ଼ିବ ନା OUTରେ ଭୁବନେଶ୍ୱରରେ ଅଛି ପିଲାଙ୍କର ଟିକେ ଆଗ୍ରହ ଥାଏ ନା ଆମେ CUPGSରେ ପଢ଼ିବୁ ପିଲାମାନେ। ମୁଁ ବାହାରୁ ଯେତେବେଳେ ପ୍ୟାରେଣ୍ଟସ୍ ମାନଙ୍କଠୁ ଶୁଣୁଛି କହୁଛନ୍ତି ଆମେ CUPGSରେ ପଢ଼ିବୁ। ପିଲାମାନଙ୍କୁ ଖାଲି ପାଠ ଛଡ଼ା ଆମର 3ଟା ଜିନିଷ ଅଛି କାରିକୁଲାର କୋ କାରିକୁଲାର ଏକ୍ସଟ୍ରା କାରିକୁଲାର। ଏ ପିଲାମାନେ ଝିଅ ଆଉ ସୁନ୍ଦର ଭାବରେ ଓଡ଼ିଆ ଆଉ ଇଂଲିଶ ସେମାନେ ଯେଉଁ କହୁଛନ୍ତି
माने केते सुंदर ओडिया कोठू कटक ओडिया कि को ओडिया मु जानी परनी को ओडिया से माने जानथिबे बहुत बढ़िया ओडिया कहउचंती इंग्लिश भी बहुत बढ़िया कहउचंती आमे एठे कोन पाठ छड़ा पिला मानकर आहुरी किछि दरकार शिखिबा दरकार जोटा जोटा आमे पार्टिसिपेशन बोली कहउछु पिलांकर जोटा आमे पार्टिसिपेटिव लर्निंग कहउछु क्रिएटिव थिंकिंग स्किल्स क्रिटिकल थिंकिंग स्किल्स पिलांकर डेभलप हवा दरकार ए 4 वर्ष पिला माने तमर गोटे टाइम जोटा कि बहुत बहुत बढ़िया टाइम लाइफ रो गोटे बहुत भलो टाइम आगो सदुपयोग कर भल भाव यूटिलाइज कर एंड क्वालिटी ऑफ लाइफ को इम्प्रूवमेंट करवा दरकार क्वालिटी ऑफ लाइफ कहीं मुझे कथा कहली 10 वर्ष पिला माने पास हला परे मु पैसा केमती कमेबी अधिका कमेबी 5-10 वर्ष परे से लाइफ रे गोटे फेडा पसिबो पैसा कमेला परे आमे प्रत्येक दिन क्वालिटी ऑफ लाइफ टा को चिंता करने हम भाबुचे ना किसी पैसा कमे देबा तापर आमे क्वालिटी ऑफ लाइफ देखिबा एमती हुए ना केबे सबु बेले आमे लाइफ रो केमती क्वालिटी टा इंप्रूव करबा सेटा दरकार बापा माने एते बड़ करछंती पिला मानकु से मानकु माने यू शुड टेक केयर ऑफ पेरेंट्स सब गुड़ा रोचे मु भावुची आज का दिन बहुत भल दिन आउ माने मु चाहूँगी सब वर्ष एमती विजु पट्टनायक जयंती पालन करा जाऊ विजु पट्टनायक को विभिन्न प्रकार जोटा शुभेन्दु कहते आमे जो जाइलु IMMT CSIR रो जोटा IMMT को जाऊँ तांको डायरेक्टर होचंदी रामानुजम से विजु पट्टनायक कथा कहते से कहले टोटल जमीटा ये किए देइछि विजु पट्टनायक देइछंती जोटा आमर पिला माने जानिथिबे से RRL थिला आगुरु जोटा पुराना पिला माने CSIR IMMT से जमी भी देइछंती विजु पट्टनायक देइछंती से कहउतले गोटे गैलरी करिया पई कहउतले आमे टिके व्यस्त रही कि आमे ताकू आ करि परिनु भावुची आज आमठू करिया बोली गोटे स्थिर कले आ पिला मानकर कंट्रीब्यूशन केमती कोन करबा कोठे फोटो संग्रह करबा ए सब करिकि आमे गोटे धीरे धीरे ताकू बढ़िबो मु कहूनी आज आमे पूरा फुल फ्लेज्ड ताकू करबा किछि किछि रखिकि ताकू आगु बढ़ेबा तांकर जीवन शैली विषय किछि किछि लेखिबा सेठे कौन कौन तांकर जीवन चर्चा जीवन केमथिला ए भलिया आज खुशीर दिन पिला माने समस्त ऑर्गेनाइज करचंती आ धन्यवाद समस्त को थैंक यू ऑल ऑफ यू
Thank you, sir. Your words beautifully highlighted his remarkable contribution, vision, and leadership, reminding us of the values he stood up for. Your guidance and encouragement continue to inspire us to help and work towards a bright future. What does one make of a man who flew a daring sortie into Dutch-occupied Indonesia and sneaked away their prime minister? Or made equally daring sorties into Kashmir during the first India-Pakistan war in 1947? Or a man who set up industry all over Odisha? Biju Patnaik was not just a political leader. He was also an aeronautical engineer, a fighter pilot, an industrialist, and a fought for freedom too. He was a true nationalist, and his interests of his beloved Odisha always were close to his heart. A man of impeccable integrity and visionary, that was Biju Patnaik. Born on March 5, 1916 in Cuttack, he was a sports enthusiast and a Ravenshaw College alumnus. After aeronautical training in Delhi, he led the Air Transport Command during World War II. He joined the Quit India movement in 1942 and was imprisoned by the British for 3 years. While in prison, he formed a bond with Jawaharlal Nehru and learned about Indonesia's struggle for independence from Dutch colonization. Biju Patnaik, a visionary entrepreneur, founded Kalinga Airlines, Ironworks, Refractories, and a pioneer Odia newspaper, Kalinga, in 1951. He established the prestigious Kalinga Prize for Science and Technology Popularization, entrusting UNESCO with his oversight. His impactful projects include Paradip Port, Odia Aviation Center, Bhubaneswar Airport, Regional Engineering College Rourkela, Sainik School Bhubaneswar, National Institute of Technology Rourkela, Odisha University of Agriculture and Technology, NALCO, Rourkela Steel Plant, Talcher Thermal Power Station, Valimera Hydel Project, HAL Sunabeda, and Chodar and Karabel Industrial Belt. Notably, he also instituted the Kalinga Club in football, leaving indelible marks in sports as well. एतत् व्यतीत ओडिशार प्रबत पुरुष श्री बिजू बाबूंक नाम नामित बिजू पट्टनायक वैश्यिक विश्वविद्यालय बीपीयूटी 2002 मसीहा नवेम्बर मास ओडिशार इस्पात नगरी राउरकेला रूप नहीं 2003 रे भारतर पूर्वतन राष्ट्रपति डॉक्टर एपीजे अब्दुल कलाम का कलाकमल रे एहार शिलान्यास होइथिला। A beacon of excellence, the exceptional aimed at elevating the quality of education for graduates from technical colleges. Today, this academic powerhouse oversees a dazzling array, captivating blend of constituents and affiliates, drawing almost a staggering 173 colleges and around 1 lakh students, spanning across dynamic principles such as engineering, architect, business management, computer studies, and pharmacy. BPUT dazzles with a spectrum both undergraduates and postgraduate program. What sets BPUT apart is its unwavering commitment to a singular curriculum and an elevation system that forms the bedrock of academic consistency. As an intellectual oasis, BPUT invites you to explore the pinnacle of educational brilliance. Then enters the realm of PPIP, where public, private, and industry dance together in harmony. BPUT is not just an institution, it's a fusion of academia and industry, a breeding ground for success. Hold your breath for the piece de resistance, a curriculum so unique and so industry friendly that it's a game changer. BPUT is rewriting the rules, ensuring students are not just educated but industry ready. It's not just business, it's a service. BPUT lives by the mantra of think good, do good, and be good, embedding a philosophy that transcends consumptional education. It's not just about degree, it's about holistic development. In 1992, Biju Patnaik left his coat for the people of Odisha. In my dream of 21st century of the state, I would have young men and young women who put the interest of their state before themselves. They will have pride in themselves, confidence in themselves. They will be not at anybody's mercy except their own self. So, here in BPUT, building confidence is the first dynamic pulsating with innovation and commitment. From the pinnacle of academia to the cutting edge of industry, BPUT stands tall. This isn't just education, it's a revolution, a commitment to shaping skillful minds for the future. No one is left behind. It's education reaching the unreached, breaking barriers, fostering inclusivity as the great Biju Patnaik once envisioned. He was a man who created history, changed history, and shaped history. Thank you. I would like to request if any other students would like to share their thoughts on this auspicious occasion.
Respected dignitaries, faculty members, and my dear friends, today we celebrate the birth anniversary of Biju Patnaik, a man who was not just a leader but a legend, a fearless freedom fighter, a visionary statesman, and the architect of modern Odisha. His contribution shaped both our state and the Indian subcontinent. He played a key role in India's freedom struggle, even using his aviation skills to aid the Quit India movement. His daring rescue of Indonesian leader made him an international hero, earning him the Indonesia's highest civilian honor, Bhumiputra. He transformed Odisha by establishing Nalco, HAL Sunabeda, and the Paradip port, laying the foundation for industrial and technological growth. Biju Babu was a man of action. He dared to dream and had the courage to turn those dreams into reality. As students of Biju Patnaik University of Technology, it is our duty to carry forward his vision. Be fearless, to take bold steps for innovation, to be visionary, use knowledge to drive progress, to be responsible, work for society, not just personal success. Biju Patnaik's legacy is not just about remembering him, but about living by his ideals. Let us honor him by striving for excellence and shaping a better Odisha. Jai Hind, Jai Odisha.
Thank you so much, Divjesh, for sharing your views. Now, I would request our esteemed dignitaries to kindly take their seat down so that we can start the document. Sir, ma'am, please.
celebrated by Kalidas or in the Mahabharata. Biju Patnaik had become a legend in his lifetime, an inspiration to many in Odisha and outside. He was one of the daring figures of our times, the builder of a modern resurgent Odisha. He believed that political life was necessarily dedicated to the good of mankind. He always advocated individual initiative and enterprise.
He was like an eagle in the star, and a man who knows how to build people from earth.
One morning, my grandfather asked me to accompany him on his way to work. It was very early in the morning, and there were no cars or drivers at home. But this, of course, didn't stop my grandfather, who proceeded to go outside the gates of the house and stop the first cycle rickshaw he could find. We got onto the cycle rickshaw and ended up stopping at a roadside dhaba, where he proceeded to order masses of food. Not surprisingly, a crowd gathered around us, and there was grandfather eating away and chatting away with everyone. Comparing this to the kind of security that most people travel with today, or as for that matter of fact, those days, it showed me a side of my grandfather that was truly amazing and maybe even unique.
He was born Bijayananda Patnaik in his ancestral home, Anand Bhavan, in Cuttack, on the 5th of March, 1916. His mother, Ashalata Devi, was a Bengali Brahmo Samaji from Chittagong. His father, Lakshmi Narayan Patnaik, was a sub-judge and once the Diwan of the princely state of Paralakhemudi. He was also a Brahmo Samaji and a pioneering leader of the movement for separate statehood for Odisha, then part of the Bengal presidency. Bijayananda pursued his studies in the mission school at Cuttack and later at Ravenshaw Collegiate School and College. A keen sportsman, his excellence in cricket and football earned him the honor of the college champion in the year 1933 and 34. College student Bijayananda set out on a successful cycling expedition from Cuttack to Peshawar and back. Bijayananda joined the team of students led by the legendary leader Utkalamani Gopabandhu Das to bring relief to the victims of severe floods at Pattamundai in the Kendrapara district. When the leader's umbrella accidentally fell from the boat, the dauntless Bijayananda dived into the turbulent waters of the river Brahmani to retrieve it. When the first aeroplane landed in the Kadiyaboda grounds in Cuttack, young Bijayananda was fascinated by the flying machine. He could not repress his desire to touch and feel it. Scolded and rebuffed by the guards, his desire to fly captured his imagination. His younger son, Naveen Patnaik, reminisces.
He was a great pilot during the Second World War. And after that, of course, he was very much in the independence struggle, arrested by the British. And I'm talking about the diversity of his life. He became a major industrialist. After that, he went into politics. He entered public life, did a great many services to the nation. Earlier, he'd been involved also in the Indonesian independence struggle. He was amongst the first to think of an international prize for the popularization of science called the Kalinga Prize. So, as you said, he had so many different persons in so many different professions who he was related to, because he himself, in his own life, had lived so many lives.
By the age of 23, Bijayanand, a full-fledged pilot, joined the Royal Air Force. He married Gyan Devi of Punjab at Rawalpindi at the same time. The Second World War broke out in the same year. Biju Patnaik flew difficult missions to China, Egypt, and Stalingrad. He rescued British families from war-torn Rangoon. In the Quit India movement of 1942, Bijayanand's patriotism brought him close to the revolutionaries. His friend George Fernandez remembers his activities.
He was the man who was in charge of the Royal Air Force for South Asia. And in that capacity, he had a lot of influence in many places. But he chose to be a part of the Quit India movement. And some of the more outstanding leaders of that movement, like Jayaprakash Narayan, Dr. Lohia, Aruna Azaf Ali, were allowed by him to stay in his house at the height of the Quit India movement. He flew them wherever they had to go from one place to another. He flew them in the Royal Air Force planes. And he risked his life for that. Because at the time came when it was discovered. And he would have been sent to the gallows. Fate saved him.
The charisma of Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose touched him deeply. Inspired by his call, Bijayanand airdropped Azad Hind Fauj leaflets from his Royal Air Force plane at various points in India. Inevitably, the British government jailed Bijayanand for his anti-imperialist activities. Kaminikant Patnaik recollects his exploits after he was released from jail in the year 1945.
He felt that there's industry, Odisha should be industrialized. So he went throughout Odisha to every door he has gone with 100, 200 rupees for share money. He collected, and at Chaudwar he established this Odisha textile mill.
He threw himself into the building of modern Orissa with full energy. The Orissa textile mills he built was soon followed by Kalinga Airways and Kalinga Tubes, Asia's largest pipe manufacturing plant. Along came the Kalinga Cup for football, the Kalinga newspaper, and the Kalinga Foundation Trust, which helped students and medical patients in need. Pyare Mohan Mahapatra, a senior administrator, remembers his enterprise.
He knew industry. He was an industrialist, but he had the skills of an industrial worker or engineer.
Yet the call of adventure was always sweet to his ears. On Pandit Nehru's request, he planned a desperate and daring mission to rescue Indonesian freedom fighters from the clutches of Dutch imperialists.
He was a man who staked his life when he flew to Indonesia, where the Dutch were firing on the airfield from both sides. Flew his own plane and got Sultan Jariar and Muhammad Hatta. He brought both of them out of the firing range by flying his plane down and then bringing it straight to Delhi, and took them to meet with Pandit Nehru.
Kashmir was attacked by Pakistan after freedom and partition of India in 1947. Biju Patnaik volunteered his services to the Indian Air Force. He paradropped vital troops near the capital city of Srinagar. Pakistan was forced to retreat from the valley. Alongside these dramatic missions, Biju Patnaik remained a committed family man. His elder son, Prem Patnaik, remembers.
Between politics that he was doing all the time and building industry, they were all very busy. and so what little we saw of him, I mean, he was great fun to be with it. We used to go with him to Kashmir, spend summers with him in Kashmir. We were in Puri together, we were in Gopalpuransi together. So the time that he spent with us was, a lot of fun, and we were there with our friends, and he was very kind to all our friends, and he was a very good father in those ways.
Biju Patnaik's thirst for adventure was balanced by his hunger for knowledge. His relationship with books is remembered by his daughter Geeta Mehta, now an internationally famous writer.
You know, the great philosopher Aristotle once said that philosophy was the pursuit of wonder. And I think if I remember anything about my father, it was that he was always in a state of wonder. He was curious about everything. He was curious about every person he met. He was curious about science. I never saw him without a book in his hand. I remember when we were children, he would finish reading his book, then he'd come around to all of us. Have you finished your books? I want to read your book. Here, I'll trade books. So he had that quality about him.
Well, he never had any plans for us. I think what he really wanted to give, what he used to say very clearly was that the most important thing is a good education, because he said that was one thing that you could never take away from anybody. And the other thing he said to all his children was that whatever you do in life, do something that you have a passion for.
Arun Patnaik remembers his grandfather.
There was one day when my grandfather had come home for dinner when I was studying in Delhi. Unfortunately for me, he found out that I had not performed or done terribly well at one of my classes in school. Upon actually finding out the marks that I had gotten for that particular class, my grandfather asked me to come aside to talk to him. He told me how privileged I was to be studying in such a good private school, and that there are millions of children around the world, poor children, that would give anything to be in my shoes. He told me that he would never want again to have to speak to me about not doing well in any of my classes in school.
In the year 1953, the people of the Himalayan kingdom of Nepal rose up against the tyranny of their Rana rulers. Always the champion of freedom, Biju Patnaik came forward and helped them in every possible manner. The year 1952, the first general elections. Biju Patnaik was elected to the first assembly of Odisha. Within a decade, he became its chief minister. In the year 1961, he was the youngest chief minister in India. A man with a mission, he was in a hurry to give progress in Odisha a concrete shape. With his customary zeal and enthusiasm, he created institutions that remain foundations for modern Odisha. The University for Agriculture and Technology, the Sainik School, the Regional Research Laboratory, the Regional Engineering College, Rourkela, the expansion of the Rourkela steel plant, NALCO, the National Aluminium Company, the MiG aircraft factory at Sunabeda, the Talche thermal power plant. The fully mechanized port at Paradeep was a major breakthrough in technology and economy. The hundreds of miles of coastline of Odisha had now become part of the context of economic development. This was a project which had historically been scuttled by the British because it was located in a cyclone-prone zone, and its coastal topography had what is known as a false point. Biju Patnaik encountered opposition on these circumstances and on many others, But he went ahead, and the success of Paradeep Port proves that he was right and history was wrong. Paradeep is supported by other infrastructure like the Paradeep-Daitari Highway. Jyoti Basu, the erstwhile Chief Minister of neighboring West Bengal, recalls,
for the good of Odisha, as an individual, he fought like anything, the central government. And he went on saying in meeting after meeting, in few of these meetings later on I was present, that Odisha has everything for industrialization, economic advancement. We have raw materials underneath the earth. We have water resources and all that. But center is not planning properly, not looking at us in the same way. So he became, as an individual, as I said, he was a colorful person, very popular.
the list of achievements in just 2.5 years in office is overwhelming. He even found time to consider the classical singer Raghunath Panigrahi's idea of a music school.
Sir, we are very proud for our state and culture, but we don't have even a small school or college. Then he at once said, "What do you mean?" No, there is no such college or school. You have to make. I will make it today. Gama pa gama pa gama gama da pa 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 da ni da 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 ni da ni 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 da re da da da. Gama da pa 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 da ni da 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 ni da ni 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 da re da da ga de ma ga ni da ni da ni pa da ni re da da ni da ba ma ni da ba ma ga. Gama ma ga re ga sa re gama pa da ni da ba ma sa re gama pa da ni da ba ma sa re gama pa da ni da ba ma ga. Tari jai, tari jam, tari jam, tari jai, tari jai, tari jai, tari jam, tari jam, tari jai, tari jai, tari jai.
The eminent poet Shitakanto Mahapatru remembers.
I believe that to an extent, he wasn't a person who can be called down to earth. He tended to soar above ground. And not only as one of the pioneering industrialists, but also as a pilot.
In 1962, China attacked India's eastern frontier. It came as a rude shock for Nehru, who always believed in peaceful coexistence with our neighbors. His earlier experience with Tibet and the later border conflict had shaken his faith. Nehru summoned Biju Patnaik to Delhi, mission advisor to the Prime Minister on defense matters. Before India could recover from the shock of the Chinese betrayal, war drums rolled from neighboring Pakistan under military dictatorship. In 1965, the nation called upon Biju Patnaik again. This time, Prime Minister Lal Bahadur Shastri had top-secret information that an Indonesian naval fleet was coming to the Indian Ocean in support of the shaky Pakistan Navy. Biju Patnaik rushed to Jakarta and met his old friend President Sukarno, and the naval fleet never came. Biju Patnaik had a lifelong and personal relationship with Amit Sukarno. Biju Patnaik and his wife were present in Jakarta in the year 1947, when General Sukarno's daughter was born. Mrs. Sukarno put the baby in Mrs. Patnaik's lap. The general asked Biju Patnaik to name the baby. He looked out of the window, saw the clouds in the sky, and the name came instantly. Meghavati, daughter of the clouds. Today, Meghavati Sukarnaputri is the president of Indonesia. The people of Indonesia have always held Biju Patnaik close to their hearts. In the year 1973, the Republic of Indonesia honored him with the title of Bhumi Putra, a son of their soil. Despite the wide range of his international and national involvement, his heart always had space reserved for Odisha.
Today we are calling ourselves Odias proudly because of a person like him, most respected and encouraging to all kinds of art and culture and education and science and everything. Whenever you go, approach him. If you talk about his state, he will be very happy.
Very lovable person, very human person. A person who, unlike politicians, didn't make a mockery of love for people. For the poor, when we say poor, the politician talks about poor in general as a word. But no, for every poor man in the street, he exuded love.
And he was seated with some of his colleagues, talking to them outside the house, in the little park in front of the house. And a little boy, I think he must have been about 7 or 8 years old, came up to him, came up to the group and said, "Who is Biju Patnaik amongst you?" So my father said, "I am Biju Patnaik." He said, "Well, you've promised schooling to us very poor, and I work by the roadside breaking stones. The new roads were being built for the capital, for the new capital, and I would like to be educated." So my father sent him to the Sainik school, which had recently come up in Bhubaneswar. And several years later, smart young man in an Air Force uniform came to see my parents. He'd just become an officer in the Air Force, and it was that little boy who was breaking stones to build roads.
Eminent painter Jatin Das recalls.
Then one day I'd gone, it was summer, midsummer in Cuttack, was very, very hot. There wasn't a single soul in the city. And I remember it was a Fiat car. And his driver, he's sitting at the back, I'm sitting next to him. He said, "Come, we'll have lunch together." Then near some kind of a hill, in a higher plateau, one man was walking alone. So he told the driver, "Stop the car, tell him to sit down." So this fellow got scared and somehow seated in the front seat. Then when we arrived, he didn't talk to, I didn't talk to this boy. But he gave the money to his driver, go and give it to him, that he should buy a bicycle. And when he has money, he should return that money.
When emergency was declared in the year 1975, Biju Patnaik was also arrested, along with major leaders of the opposition. Through those turbulent times, he remained captive, but his spirit remained undaunted. After he came out in the year 1977, Biju Patnaik was instrumental in forming the Janata Party. He was a prominent member of the new cabinet in the first non-Congress government in India.
But actually after the Janata experience, which is he formed a party, he looked at the left parties, what we were doing in West Bengal. And then he got in touch with us. And as I said earlier, that he became very friendly with our then General Secretary, our Secretary, not General, Secretary, Pramod Das Mitra. And he used to say, "Let us work together, let us have a program."
A childlike sense of wonder seemed to linger on even after achieving an eminent position. His quest for new discoveries continued throughout his life. From daredevil pilot to a successful industrialist, he went on to become a national leader.
Sitakant, I am told that you have done 2 major works on Jagannath Das Uriya Bhagavat and the blind tribal poet Bhima Bhui. Can I see these 2 books? I was astonished because I didn't expect this from him. I said, "Sir, I will make it available through your personal secretary or secretary very soon." And I was astonished that he not only received it, but about 2 months later, he gave me a ring and told me how he liked these 2 works.
Who is it? I said, "Mu, Raghunath. Ah, come." No, are you depressed? No, person like you should not get depressed. I will not believe. Come on. Then he said, "Let us go out. Have you got your car? Small car? Tiny car?" I said, "Yes, little Harrier car is there." "Nana, come on, poor man's car." Heck, should not call yourself. My father and your father both are like brothers. They are called lions of the state.
when Pallakmandi Maharaja Krishnachandra Gajapati's Diwan, my father was. So this kind of things I've heard from him. I took him to Chaudhar and we sat for a long time and he was singing so beautifully. His voice was exactly like Saigal and Pankaj Malik. Nana, you sing so well, I never heard before. Then he sang that Gori, Kahe Guman Kari Re Gori, Jab Dil Hi Toot Gaya. This song she sang. Nana, I don't sing Dil Hi Toot Gaya. Let Dil Tootne Do. Par tum haroge nahi kabhi bhi.
His thirst for knowledge was never quenched. It had egged him on to establish the Kalinga Prize for the popularization of science and technology. It was the prize that brought close to Odisha and India some of the greatest scientists of the world, like Julian Huxley, Margaret Mead, Amirali Hoodboy, Richie Calder, Bertrand Russell, Arthur C. Clarke, Fred Hoyle, and Jayant Narlikar.
That inspired him to create the Kalinga Science Prize. You know, it is the nation's oldest science prize. It's over half a century old. And the reason why he created the prize was the prize in itself is not so much money, but it does invite each scientist. The prize is created to popularize science. And it does invite each scientist who gets the prize, which is given by a body of people in UNESCO, to visit India for 3 months. Now for my father, whose obsession with India was so great, and whose love of it and whose pride in it was so great, he believed you get the greatest scientists in the world, bring them to India for 3 months. They will get so fascinated, so hypnotized by this country, that they will bring their genius for free to bear on the problems of this country.
Like his mentor, Jawaharlal Nehru, the lines of the poet Robert Frost seem to be the philosophy of Biju Patnaik. The woods are lovely, dark and deep, but I have promises to keep, and miles to go before I sleep, and miles to go before I sleep. Biju Patnaik's lovable and admirable qualities made him immensely popular. Called the coalition man, he became central to the formation of the Janata Dal government in the center and in Odisha.
Later on, he was one of the champions of United Front.
He once again returned to his familiar seat as the state's chief minister. Biju Patnaik always took political opposition in his powerful stride.
And during Mandal Commission, he used to come, by a rickshaw to office on Saturdays and Sundays. The DG of police asked him not to come by a rickshaw because there was agitation and people might take pot shot at him or throw stones at him. He said, please go, arrange your own security. I don't need security from my people.
The greatest of his qualities was his immense generosity for his time, for his work, for his trouble, for his thoughts, for everyone.
Biju Patnaik's administrative actions were as bold as his political thought. He overruled strong objections within his own ministry to raise the minimum wage in Odisha from 10 rupees to 25. He appointed 10 tribal women as his advisors. Tribal activist Sumani Jhodia remembers. He supported women in their anti-liquor movement. He also gave them ownership of land. He even gave women leaders special police powers. He was a father figure. His declaration of a 33% reservation for women on all local self-government bodies and certain government jobs had deep impact on society. His fellow parliamentarian Meera Das recollects,
is the pioneer giving the 33% reservation for women in local bodies and also in panchayats. Yes, prior to this, the government of India took as a constitutional change. That prior to that, we had reservation. That was in panchayat. It was 30,000 ladies were elected. When we are in France for women conference, yes, then there we said that we have made it much before you think it here.
in the year 1992, Biju Patnaik initiated the Kalinga Bali Jatra to revive the memories of the ancient linkage between the two countries and to give international cooperation a contemporary thrust. Biju Patnaik had always lived courageously. In time, his fearlessness earned him the respect of his adversaries. His political opponent, Janaki Ballabh Patnaik, says,
He was a public man who created a successful image in the state.
He was, in more sense, not a politician. He was a statesman. He never, ever was afraid of speaking out his mind.
Fearlessness came from a profound sense of justice. My father, his own family, was so involved. I mean, he was a fearless man, but he was always trying to live up to the fearlessness of his own cousins. He had two cousins, a boy of 19 who was a great poet who led, he and another boy led the Chittagong Armory raid. That boy was shot to death on the steps of the Chittagong Armory. His younger brother, at the age of 14, was imprisoned, was sent off to the Andaman Islands, where he was kept in chains for 17 years. So my father considered them fearless.
it was his courage and his charisma that made him a favorite with Pandit Nehru. He featured in a book called After Nehru Who, written by the American journalist Wallace Hangan during the last years of Nehru's life.
The man who would rule this country after Nehru was being talked about. There were many. It was not merely Wallace Hangan who thought that here is somebody who could be one of the persons who could perhaps wear his mantle, Nehru's mantle, because he was not only very well versed in the art of administration, had an industrial background, was a visionary, but then the movement of Indian political system is such that he perhaps was one of those who didn't know the gentle art of being diplomatic with persons, how to influence, to win friends and influence people. To my best of awareness about him, he never cared for that.
The man looked, his ideas were far ahead of the times for people to understand. And she was born also in the wrong state.
Biju Patnaik was also caught in the turmoil of the 90s, with the breakdown of many established political values and ideologies.
Mufti Muhammad Said, Kashmir Chief Minister, was Home Minister then. When the question was of releasing Mufti's daughter in exchange for 8 hardcore militants, Biju Babu was very, very tough on that issue. He said, Mufti, if you want your daughter to be released, first resign as Home Minister.
And I find now it's very frustrating the way he was showing his frustration towards the end. A lot of people thought that he was getting very angry. He would slap somebody, or he was getting angry, getting upset, very lonely. Because to translate his ideas and vision, there were not many people. This is the actual problem.
Whereas he was a very, very restless person, and the restlessness was rooted in his desire to see that the country becomes great. And the various obstacles that would come in the way, and the slowness with which
our bureaucracy, our politics, just about everything moved here, is what made him restless. He was an extraordinary person.
Thank you for this inspiring documentary. As we honor the memory of Biju Patnaik, let us gather historical data, photographs and memorabilia to create a comprehensive gallery showcasing his remarkable life and achievement. Let us pledge to emulate the exemplary legacy of the tall man of Odisha who transformed, created and shaped history. May we strive to make our university and ourselves the shining stars in the annals of Odisha's history. Thank you so much.